What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning back into the channel. Today we're going to do a little something different. We're going to do the top 5 and some honorable mentions books that you should read if you really want to find out more about this extraterrestrial UFO occultism subject. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with my very first one. This is one that means a lot to me. I've read this book many times, and there's two or three volumes to it, and I've read those numerous times as well. They're also on Audible, which is really nice. I think all of these are on Audible, I'm pretty sure. So if you're driving, working out, whatever, you can listen to these and tune in and get educated on this subject. So, without further ado, let's start with the first one. The first one is Selected by Extraterrestrials by William Tompkins. Let me put it to you this way, a little bit about William Tompkins. He was a ship modeler. He made ships, Navy ships, at a very young age. Got recruited by the Navy. His models actually ended up in a storefront because he was so good at modeling, and he was a young person at this time, and he was putting, because he had photographic memory, he was putting classified like weapon systems on these model ships. Because he was in California, a bunch of naval officers was walking by a storefront. They ended up seeing these, and then they found out who made them. They thought he was a Russian spy, and then they did some research on him, realized he wasn't, and then he basically got on that track to get in these classified projects. Okay, um, and then he grew up, and he was working in places like TRW, secret think tanks. He worked for Douglas Aircraft. He is probably most famously known for the person that created the checkout and launch system in NASA. You know, the amphitheater type. So rockets used to be launched and checked out horizontally, but he developed a vertical checkout and launch system. And the amphitheater that you see in those Apollo moon programs, he designed that whole room and everything. So the command and control center for that. So he's a very good insider. He knows exactly what's going on. He recently passed away these past few years, but he has some great interviews that Gaia TV did on a show called Cosmic Disclosure. So make sure to check that out if you want to watch videos of that. That's Gaia TV, Cosmic Disclosure. And yeah, that's a really good one. It's one of my favorite ones. If you haven't been in this topic at all and don't know anything about it, this will definitely push your boundaries as far as what you deem, factual, because it did me, that is for sure. This is one of the bigger books that I've read as far as like pushing my mental boundary, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So that is the first one, and I guess it's got 3 volumes, so I guess it's 3 books, but we're just going to go ahead and label that as one for now. The second one, I'll go ahead and type these in. Behold a Pale Horse. This is actually one of the most read books by prison inmates in the United States. This basically, Bill Cooper was a formal, oh, it says right here. I'll just read what it says. Bill Cooper, former U.S. Naval Intelligence briefing team member, reveals information that remains hidden from the public eye. This information has been kept in top secret government files since the 40s. His audiences hear the truth unfold as he writes about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, war on drugs, secret government, UFO. He's lucid, rational, powerful speaker whose intent is to inform and empower his audience. This is a great one as well. This will definitely push your boundaries, give you a little more insight at the government aspect of everything, and a little bit more about the JFK assassination. And I just think it's a really good book to have in your repertoire of knowledge. That way you can have an understanding of the bird's eye view of the subject. Okay, let me go into this next one here. This is called Penetration. All right. No, it's not that kind of penetration. All right. This is called Penetration by Indigo Swan. Indigo Swan was basically a psi researcher. He was very skilled in remote viewing, and he actually developed a lot of the remote viewing programs from the CIA, and got recruited in that whole realm. Um, he basically has like a extra sensory perception, and he's able to kind of discern between human and extraterrestrials, even though some extraterrestrials look like us. He did remote viewings of the moon, and he was shocked to find out what he saw on the moon. He saw like craft and ships and basically buildings, things like that on the moon. And remote viewing, if you're not familiar with any of this, remote viewing is a psionic ability that all humans innately have. Some more gifted than others with this, but it's basically tapping your mind into the universal realm where it's basically like quantum entanglement. The speed of information can come to and from. They got to the point with these remote viewing programs where the really good ones could read Russian documents on the other side of the world and have up to 90% accuracy with these. He's one of the people that taught remote viewing, and it's a really good book to give you kind of like a overall view of the psionic abilities that the CIA has been researching. A little bit about MK Ultra, mostly a positive book, so you don't have to worry about being scared or anything like that. And it's just a really good book for you to read. This one is also on Audible, if I didn't mention that earlier. And this one is actually it is not a extraterrestrial UFO book. However, they are using some powers in this book. These yogis, Steve Jobs actually recommended this book, and I believe he gave this book to everybody that attended his funeral. Steve Jobs was very into mysticism, Hindu mysticism, things like that. And this book is written by Par, Parsh, Paramahansa Yogananda. I say Parshmananda Yogananda, but yeah. But so basically, he is uh, a little bit. This is a very long book, by the way, so I would read this one, or I would do audiobook for this one. This is a very thick book, and it's basically following his life. He gets in touch with these yogis called swamis, and they are very adept in the mental powers. They are able to do things like you see in Star Wars. They're able to have astral projections, two of themselves simultaneously. There's a story where one of his yogis that he gets in touch with, he's sitting there watching this yogi, and the yogi's there's a person down by the water that they wanted to get in touch with so they could all meet at this yogi's house. So Yogananda is watching this yogi. He's just like, okay, well, I'll sit here and wait. And so the the Swami that he's able to talk to actually split himself into two. So he had a physical body, and he was able to go get the guy that they wanted to find by the water and tell him to meet him at the house. And then Yogananda, when the guy arrives right on time, he goes, well, how did you know to get here? And he's like, well, the Swami told me to be here. He's like, well, I've been watching the Swami this whole time. That's just one of the many. There's at one of the points in the book, they're able to completely materialize a full plate of food, like a banquet type scenario of full of food. They're basically Jesus-like powers. They're able to walk on water and things like this. And it's just a really good book about metaphysics and how these yogis have been practicing this for thousands of years. And it's not so how we think of as pie in the sky and all this. But these yogis are able to basically tap into that universal mind state and raise their vibration through yogic practices and what's known as Kriya Yoga, which I believe it's very hard to find info on Kriya Yoga. It's basically like a series of inhalations that energize and harmonize the body and is able to raise your frequency. So this is a great book to read, just gives you like an overarching view of kind of it has nothing to do with UFOs as far as I know. I might have to read it again to see, but the powers that's in it has a lot to do with UFOs and kind of the occult mysticism that has been hidden from the public eye. So that's a great book for you to read. Let's do this one. These books that I'm about to show you are getting into the weeds a little bit. Uh, if you are a person that is prone to anxiety, I would seriously consider just think twice about reading these. And yeah, okay. These are uh, they're I wouldn't say they're very negative books, but this goes into the realm of CIA mind control, NASA-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse, mind fracturing, which is when when a human gets traumatized. Let's just say you're a 2-year-old boy or girl. Okay. Um, People in these satanic families that have been going on for thousands of years, the DuPont family and all these big time families that you see, a lot of them are satanic ritual uh, families that pass down their lineages through incest-based mind control. Okay, and this is the reality. And so a lot of the people that you see that's quote unquote Illuminati, there are no recruits in the Illuminati. You do not recruit Drake or recruit Kendrick Lamar or any of those people in the Illuminati. Okay, these Illuminati are family. There are whether or not they're they can have one person be the person in the Illuminati, and then they intermingle, but a lot of the Illuminati families are arranged marriages anyways. And it makes you wonder why the British monarchs have been having arranged marriages for so long. And so um, this book is uh, taking you through a story. This is a real story of Mark Phillips, which was he was a mind scientist, if you will, very privy to classified information. I believe he worked for the NSA. He comes out, he meets this woman named Kathy O'Brien. Okay, Kathy O'Brien, at the time that he met her, was in control uh, of a guy, um, and basically he breaks her out of it, moves her to Alaska, and deprograms her through a process of hypnotic regression. So she was able to recover her memories, write them down, and then convey them in this book. If I didn't mention that before, when a human gets traumatized, whether that be raped, uh, tortured, emotional distress, and I mean, I'm not talking about your parents yelling at you. I'm talking about you are being raped. You are being put in a pentagram circle. There's rituals going on. There are people chanting, saying words that you don't understand. This is a reality, and believe it or not, I was very skeptical of this type of information, but the more I research it, the more I realize the validity of these claims. Um, so basically, Kathy was able to recover her memories, get out of the mind control, and basically integrate her altars. Now, like I said earlier, when you're getting in these satanic rituals, the mind creates its own version of a way to deal with the trauma. They're called altars, okay? This is the science known as this is the mental health arena known as DID, dissociative identity disorder, MPD, multiple personality disorder, okay? And these two mental health, if you will, are generally people that have been through this type of trauma. Now, when they're in this trauma, they make alters, they're mind fractures, because the current consciousness can't deal with to protect. It's a safety mechanism that the brain does to protect itself from intense trauma and pain. So they'll create alters, and it's the same person. It's like the Jekyll and Hyde. It's the same person, but they'll have many split different personalities. Now, what the United States government, CIA, not everybody in the government, that's just not true. Okay, this is very covert black ops type of individuals. MI6, CIA, NSA, all the top level officials know about that. Okay, and what they do is they seek out these incest-based families, and their families will sell these individuals to the United States government in exchange for money. And so they're not selling the person per se, they're selling their body, yes, but they're also selling access to their altars. and the CIA and whoever can program these alters to do whatever they want, whether that be a sex slave for manipulating foreign diplomats. And they train them to do all this. These are they become agents of the CIA, and they have no willingness to. They're under mind control. They cannot help but do it because their own personality is put to the side when these altars are brought out. They can use code words. They can use books such as Catcher in the Rye to open. And guess who had Catcher in the Rye? Is Harvey Oswald. So that's just a little bit about that book. Whether that's true or not, these people are programmed, and you're able to flip these altars upon will, and their their personality becomes that altar, and they're able to execute on whatever they've been told to do, whether that be drug smuggling, information uh, from foreign, countries, things like that. This goes into the Clinton family. This goes into the Reagan administration, and it's pretty. This is in the weeds, guys. If this is very serious information and accusations that this book brings out to light. I believe this came out in 1999 or so, 1995. Yeah. And so they've been talking about this for a long time. Mark Phillips has been since assassinated. So, yeah, that just goes to show you some validity to these claims. And Kathy O'Brien's children, her name is Kelly, she actually is under custody in Tennessee, or was during this book, and they're not able to actually accuse anybody of anything because of reasons of national security. So I'll leave you with that and think about with that what you will. So yeah, very in the weeds book. Definitely guard yourself from negative energies when you're reading that because it's a very sad book. Let's go into this one right here. This is actually one of the books that I found that actually has very good validity, and kind of give you a little bit of insider information about the Illuminati, or in their off-branch families. So the person that wrote this, he's using a pseudonym right here. That's to protect himself, I would imagine. But I didn't believe this book. I actually read this before I read the Transformation of America book, and so this to me on its own did not have any validity to it. But I've read actually two corresponding books that had nothing to do with each other, and they're all saying the same things. So uh, this guy was a trainer in the Illuminati. So there's a strict hierarchical system inside the Illuminati. These people are getting educated. This is how they're able to covertly rule the populations. They're extremely educated. They're extremely ruthless. They're extremely competitive. They're extremely they're they live different lives. So for example, they will wake up on their own at 2 a.m. The whole family will wake up. Their altars are waking up for them. And this is why the government wants this stuff. These satanic rituals, satanic families have been using this mind fracturing, mind control for thousands of years. And this is a recent study that the governments of the world have been picking up on. And Joseph Mengele, which is the angel of death from Nazi Germany, would actually recruit these satanic families and did many studies on them in Nazi Germany during World War II. So basically, their altar will wake up at 2 or 1 a.m. They'll wake up their kids and they'll be mean to them, but they'll be nice to them during the day. Sometimes they don't even know they don't even know that their altars are waking up and in control of them at night. And so they'll wake up, go to get in the car, they'll go to a military base, and they'll have guard systems in place. There's 3 levels of security. There'll be all the plates on these cars are recognized that the people are supposed to be at these satanic meetings, and so I believe they do like once a week. It depends on which branch or offshoot that you're in, but this gentleman had one where they would meet up to 2 times a week, And so they would go to these military bases, have 3 levels of security. First level, they do a check-in. Second level, you're basically able to get through all the levels of security. But if the car is not supposed to be there, there are people in place ready to create a distraction from whoever is coming that's not supposed to be there, whether that be police, whether that be investigators, whatever. First, they'll create a distraction with a car broke down on the side of the road. The second, they will wall off, like create debris in the area. And the third, they'll do more of the same, just this interlocking security system that is triple tight. And this gives people in the area time to clean everything up and dispose of it quickly. And so this is how a lot of people claim that this stuff doesn't even exist, and these are the reasons why. So this gives you a really in-depth, closer view at actually what's happening in the Illuminati as far as the satanic ritual abuse and the trauma that they have to go through. These people are so traumatized, I can't even begin to describe how and they break out. Some of them break through and they're able to live, normal, quote unquote normal lives, but how can you live a normal life when you grew up in a family like that? And so this person claims to be related to the Rothschilds. I believe it was Jacob Rothschild, a descendant of one of them. A lot of these Rothschilds are like Genghis Khan. They have many children, bastard children running around the world, and they all get recruited in these satanic families that are not part of the main vein. This is how it's compartmentalized within a compartmentalization. So this is how a lot of this stuff doesn't even quote unquote exist. So it's a great book to get an overall view, insider view of the Illuminati. And if you want to find out more about occultism and things like that, that is the go-to book for you. Okay, let's get into some more positive stuff of an economic confession. Okay, this book is done by John Perkins. He actually has, let's see, yep, this one. So he actually has a lot of interviews. So you can look this guy up. He worked for the NSA, but he worked. They were contracted out by the NSA, but he worked for a private industry. His main job was, and this guy's actually really. You can look this up, and he's. This is not any kind of conspiracy or anything like that. This is a real guy. And so this guy, his main thing was to go to foreign countries such as Bali, Indonesia, Peru, countries in Peru, Panama, um, places in the Middle East. And what he would do is he would make he worked for he tried to subscribe these countries to our utility companies here in the United States. So basically, what he would do, let's say he goes to Bali, he would go meet with the president. He'd give them an economic list and say, "Hey, we can increase your GDP by X, Y, Z, 5,000% in the next 20 years." Something like that. His main goal was to make um, these inflated economic reports and then relay this information to these presidents to convince them to take large loans out through the debt system to have their public utilities enhanced by the United States and the powers that be. So that basically indebts them to the United States, and they get interest off of that debt. So this is how the money machine works, and a little bit more about the covert actions that are taking place. He worked in the Panama Canal and everything like that, and this is just a really solid book to give you an idea about how the global financial system has been using debt to enslave other countries, not just the United States. It's like manifest destiny, but financially throughout the whole world. So this is a very interesting book. John does a great job, and he's been threatened by many people when he released this book. So yeah, all these people have actually, other than Yogananda, which he died a while back anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But and William Cooper, the Behold a Pale Horse guy, he died. And yeah, so that's why the one guy in Ritual Abuse Secrets used a pseudonym, and I don't blame him because if he would have released his name, he would have been. So Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is a little bit about the top 5 books that you should be reading. Well, 6 books, honorable mention, whatever. If you want to find out more about the occult, mysticism, satanic rituals, UFOs, things like that, it's all intertwined, believe it or not. That's why this subject is so big, because it literally intertwines with every single. It's anthropology. It's studying different cultures. It's studying the financial systems. It's studying the occult mysticism that is hidden behind these the decision makers that are running this. So guys, if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. It would really mean a lot. I really appreciate the subscriber count that we've been getting in the past month, past week, past year. It's been awesome. So thank you so much to every single one of you. So go ahead and subscribe right now. I release this content every single day. There's new videos, shorts, you name it. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you later. Peace.